Hey guys, and welcome to the New Year's episode of the Get Life Podcast Kunai. Last episode, we obviously had our Christmas episode. If you haven't seen that, go and see it right now because we chose the anime that we're going to watch today, Ke-on, based on what we saw in the Christmas episode and whatnot. So, before we get started, Tyson.
For you new folks, Get a Life Podcast Kunai is an anime discussion podcast under the Get a Life group, which includes the original Get a Life podcast, Galp Germany and Galp France. We run on a monthly schedule with a new episode of Kunai at the end of the month. Because this is an anime discussion podcast, expect heavy spoilers. Also, we aren't covering the manga in any extent for those shows that are based off one. We can be found on Stitcher and the iTunes store. If you'd like to recommend a show for us to watch and make an episode of Kunai, send us your suggestion on Twitter at Get a Life Podcast using the hashtag GALPKunai. We only ask that you suggest shows that have at most 30 episodes. We got our lives to attend to. Get it? Good.
So yeah, Ke-on is a 12-episode anime. It also has a second season, but we're not going to talk about that today. It also has a film set in London, which I've seen the film. It's quite good, but it's kind of confusing because it kind of shows London as... It's like stereotypical London, basically. It's not how London really is, but I digress. So, your opinions, Kevin, what do you think? Your first impressions?
Alright, so yeah, just note, I was the only one who didn't watch the anime at the time it was suggested, so I have to say, overall, I enjoyed it. I don't think it's my favorite anime, but it's definitely a good, solid piece of work. Basically, for those of you who don't know, it's a slice of life anime, right? And I think it gets so many aspects right because it has a nice blend of everything. It has good music. The music's amazing, by the way. The characters, the cast, they all have different personalities, right? And they just complement each other so well. So it's really nice to have a good story with nice characters. Overall, I really enjoyed it. And the comedy, oh my god. It'll make you laugh. And most importantly, of course, there's Senpai Ship and Mugi-chan. So, that's a plus. 10 out of 10.
IGN. Alright, so, in regards to me, I've already watched Ke-on, and I think that I couldn't be able to properly explain how or why do I like Ke-on. I'm gonna start with that. Unless I go kind of back in time and tell the audience about how I first found out Ke-on. So, I've always been into forums. I like hanging out with communities, and in one of these communities, there was a guy. I don't know if it was out of a gag or was it the show he was watching at the moment, or that he's a real fan of it, because that particular forum had gags running from time to time, and this particular user had a Mio avatar, and then I decided to ask him about it, and oh hey, it's Ke-on. Then it was probably 4 years ago or maybe 3, I don't know. But I decided to watch it, and I think I like it, or what got me in rather was just how airheaded Yui is. It has a sort of endearing charm to it, because I'm supposed to be watching this character that I'm supposed to the writers kind of put him into, okay, so have the viewer care for her and whatnot, and I'm looking at a total airhead, but she manages to still be cute within that whole airheadedness. Even just for the record, Yui is not my best girl. But we're gonna enter the discussion later. So about Ke-on, why is it that I stayed? Because when you take out the whole endearing thing about it, it's just like an anime with no direction. I'm basically living the lives of these 5 girls and their antics. So if you try to overanalyze, you're gonna be left with that. But I think it's because that the viewer, or at least this perhaps was the writers intention of having you kind of like care for the girls to make the whole concept work. At least with me, it did, because I'm always like, there was always this, how should I say it? There was this desire to know what was going to happen next. Like, this is not an intense show. This is like like a very easygoing anime, but it's also fun. It's like, it's really, really fun to watch, even though that is simplistic and whatnot. I don't know how K-On managed to do that, but it did. It just did. I don't know. I don't really know how to explain it. But yeah, Bish, what do you think about it?
The thing what I like about K-On, and like I said, for you guys to kind of understand why I like K-On as an anime, is because it's like to be honest, it's the second anime I've seen like in real life. Like, I've seen loads of animes, but this was in chronological order. This was the second one, and it was actually suggested by my friend Daniil. Shout out to him. It seems like I'm giving Daniil a shout out every episode.
This is like the third shout out you get to Daniil.
Yeah. The reason I'm giving him the shout out is because Daniil was the kind of guy that got me into anime, and I really thank him for everything. But he said, "Oh, watch K-On! Because you like Toradora so much." And I was like, "Cool." I didn't even know what the hell K-On was about, and I was like, I kind of got bored at the beginning. I was like, "Oh, it's kind of a stupid girly anime with guitars and stuff." And then I was just like, "Whoa, this kind of reminds me of my own life." As weird as that sounds, and my own high school experiences. Because believe it or not, I used to be in this kind of K-On group.
You were the light music band when you were in high school?
Yeah, kind of. But
do you have like a Mugi-chan in your life?
It wasn't a Mugi-chan. To be honest, I was more of the Azusa.
You were more
at the same. I don't know how to explain it. The only reason I was the Azusa is mainly because everyone else were 1 year older than me. So I was like, "Oh, senpai," do you know what I mean?
I can picture Bish with like pigtails now.
Yeah,
like,
of course I did. Of course.
No suggestion. Can we call Bish Bishu Nyang or something like that? No,
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
No, don't,
Okay.
don't call me that. No.
Bish Nyang.
The funny thing about that, I've actually done that in recordings before. I've done it with this is fun fact. No one else will know this. If you've seen our interview, our actual first episode of Kunai, with the guys from Honda, Nishimoto-san and Mikura-san, head designers and engineer from Honda, I actually asked them the funniest question. I was like, "Oh, can you do an impression of an animal?" Because they were talking about how their previous vehicles were, had design inspirations from cats and stuff, and I was like, "Hey, no, come on, let's do that." And I was like, "Yeah." And then I remember, and it was hilarious because Mikura-san said to Nishimoto-san, he was like, kawaii desu ne. And I was like, "Oh, wow, mind blown." And I was like, "These guys from Japan think I'm cute." I was like, "Wow." I felt really excited.
Did you have cat ears on?
No, I didn't. It was hilarious because the translator was like, "No, I don't think they'll find it funny." And then I done the impression and they loved it. It's not in the episode, but it's. I think I'll always remember that. But getting back to the point, in this kind of K-On group that I was in, it was a vocal group. We had our own. It was more of like a Love Live thing. If you've seen Love Live, as opposed to K-On, but it kind of reminds me of K-On more because there's roughly the same amount of people. It was a similar kind of concept. We didn't eat snacks all the time, but there was people that you
defeated my next question.
No, we didn't. But it was like we used to hang out after school and like sing, and it was cool because essentially how it started was it was a school choir thing, and then no one started to come to the school choir, so we were like, "Dude, let's just do our own thing." And I think I was the only guy in that K-On group. And the rest were girls. But I would say I'm not one to toot my own horn, but I was the person that was keeping it together, and I was the main vocalist in that.
So you're like Neo, right? I guess.
So he's like the Yui among
kind of
not the Yui like the pimp Jew from Persona 4. You can they just shake magnet all over him. But
Essentially,
there weren't any other guys on the club. That
no, there was no other guys because people thought it was gay, and I was like, "What? Just singing's not gay. Look at all these other musicians."
Well, I think if you take the definition of gay as being happy, then yes, it is very gay because you were all happy.
To be honest, yeah. And then there was another thing. We even had our own kind of advisor, who was my music teacher. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure if I should mention him. He's a badass, by the way. He was like the person that I would look up to, but he was cool. But
was he like Sawaka? Was he like Sawaka?
Yeah. Did he sing?
No,
like
I don't think he was. He was the most intimidating guy. Like he's the opposite of Sawaka. You know, Sawaka is like so cute, and all the students think like, oh, she's so cute, and she's like, oh, best teacher, most beautiful teacher ever. But she's like she's really dark on the inside. She's like, well, heavy metal, blah blah blah. But this guy was completely the opposite. He would like stare students and like look at them, and they would piss themselves. Like he was that scary. But then when you talk to him, he's really like cool. Like he's like, I don't know how to explain it. He's the opposite of Salka. He actually left, and I haven't seen him in like how many years? Like 5 years. But he's a legend. And if he's listening, which I doubt he is, you're awesome. He knows who he is. But yeah, and like I related so much to K-On! And I was like, whoa, you know, because for me that light music club, for me in high school was kind of put my mind off a couple of things, you know, especially because a lot of us, you know, in high school we kind of get bullied and whatnot, and it was. It kind of put me away from that, and it made me think, whoa, you know, it made me feel good about myself, it gave me self-confidence, and I'm guessing the same kind of applies to these guys in K-On! As well. Like, I feel that characters you see them progress, and you see them change, and how they come how they come more confident in themselves, and their abilities and whatnot. And yeah, it was fun. But in terms of the actual anime K-On!, I love it, and it just mainly because of the nostalgia, and you know, there's so much I can relate to. But yeah.
Cool. So where do we go from here, guys?
Where we go from here, I think we should talk about the animation style, because this anime was kind of based off a manga that was known as K-On!
Duh.
And the manga artist was male, and I think this is his only manga at all. Like, he hasn't done anything else except for small projects, but this thing was like his biggest thing he's done. And I would say Tyson's favorite animation company, you know, Kyoto Animation, were the ones that done the animation for that. Yeah. So what do you think, Tyson? Do you think it's as good as Free in terms of animation style?
No,
because they are quite similar.
No. I mean, really? I mean, it was it was done by KyoAni, but Free is more like expressive on the animation. This one is not so much. Also, consider my mind blown that this show was designed by a guy, because an all girls anime and manga, I suppose, because I haven't read the manga, was like, what, really? This was done by a guy instead of like a girl?
But the thing is, to be honest, most of these kind of shoujo animes tend to be like done by male. You know, there's this one
because they're intended for a male audience, right?
It's not just for a male audience. I think sometimes they kind of, I don't know how to explain it. There's this one anime that explains it really well, and where this manga artist, essentially everyone thinks he's a woman, you know, from when he releases his anime. He releases it anonymously under a woman's name, but you know, he meets this girl and she kind of gets confused because she's like, you do all of these shoujo manga and you're a guy. And I think that happens quite a lot, and there's so many animes that kind of show this process as well. So it's not a rare thing. I think that most of the times it puts a new spin on things, and it's kind of surprising that you guys didn't know. Like, honestly, I was shocked as well. I was like, what? I honestly thought it was a woman that done it, because for me, after watching Toradora and stuff, I knew a female wrote the light novels for Toradora because I searched that up, and I was like, oh, there's, you know, anyone can kind of essentially write a shoujo or a slice of life thing. It doesn't, you're not limited to what gender you are.
No, but
which is a great thing.
I don't mean it in the sense that a woman can only write a slice of life character, but the whole notion about a guy seemingly like writing what is seemingly I don't know if that was the intention of practically all girls anime, because I can count with the fingers of one hand how many male characters are in the show. With the fingers of one hand.
I think there's one.
Just one.
Actually, well, it's only the people inside of the music shop, I believe. That's
No,
it.
there are few
Ritsu's
bystanders
brother.
as well that were male, but other than that, primary, secondary, and tertiary characters almost all women. And then I was like,
Yeah.
Actually, I'd go as far as to say there aren't any major male characters.
no, they are
But
not.
mainly because this anime is set in a high school for girls.
That could probably be the reason, because it was never.
It's a private. Yeah, it's a school where it's just that, and it's it would be really odd to have male characters if it just doesn't work, especially in a school where it's just girls. It doesn't make any sense.
I probably missed the explanation in which that their high school was all girls only high school, or maybe they didn't explain it on the anime. I don't know.
It's
I don't
quite
think
clear.
they explained
No,
it,
they didn't explain
but-
it, but it's quite clear.
But yeah, it's clear that since you never see any guy at the school, it's obvious that
No,
it's
but
all-female school, right?
but I actually thought that it was all part of the concept. I am no stranger to the fact that there are all girls schools out there, but I thought in here there was only playing to the whole all girls theme, not that there were on all girls. I just started to sound stupid. I'm just gonna get back to the whole animation thing. So yeah, it doesn't like. Yes, this is done by KyoAni. It doesn't beat free in my book, but I think it has a certain charm in their own way, especially when they're playing music. That's where the whole brunt of the animation work is shown, and I believe it was quite good for what it was trying to achieve. I neither like fell in love or disliked it. I just kind of neutral on the whole thing, but. But I feel like there is something about close-ups. I'm gonna point right here to the introducing animation where Mio is playing the bass. What is it about him? And I also saw this in Free. Like, what is it about KyoAni that they tend to focus a lot in the details? Like, they
over fetishize. They over fetishize the details. I think.
But when Mio plays the bass, like in the whole beginning, where there's a close up to her hand, you're just tapping the strings or whatnot, I can actually believe that they are actually like playing, like it's believable. That's kind of like the only word I can find for it, but I find it believable. What is it about KyoAni that makes that? I don't know.
Well, I think Kyoto Animation wouldn't be able to do that if it wasn't for the immense amount of product placement in this anime. Not many people notice this, but there's...
Wait, really?
Yes,
I didn't notice anything at all, actually.
All of the guitars and all of the instruments are real.
No, Abe, no. I at first thought of product placement, but I'm thinking about licensing. That they merely ask the rights holders to, hey, can we use the name of your brand on your...
I wouldn't say so. No, I think it's just a massive product placement thing, because even then, like a lot of the companies like...
Yamaha? Marshall?
Yamaha... Not just Marshall, there was Gibson.
Yep, I saw Marshall.
There's Gibson guitars there as well.
Yeah, that's a big
guitar.
Even
Mugi-chan's keytar.
Korg, yeah.
That's
a Korg.
Yeah, that's a big thing, and they're actually selling it, and they're very excited, and they're saying, oh, this was used in K-On! So it makes me think that there is some, maybe not with all of the companies, but with some of them, it is like amazing product placement because you don't notice it. It's something you really don't notice.
I thought they were going more for the realism thing, like.
Yeah, of course, but it also works in that.
No,
as well.
But for me to consider it, as always, this is my opinion, but for me to consider it product placement, it has to be like in my face, like I did notice that the drum kit, the keyboard, the guitar was branded, and I can't recall now if Mio's bass guitar was branded as well. So that's why I think it was more of a licensing deal that happened with between Keone and.
I don't think that, because even the when you buy like certain what's it called, figurines and stuff, especially the Mugi-chan one, the Figma does not have any sort of licensing or any sort of reference to Korg or Yamaha or any of the products.
So that's precisely why. So that's precisely solidifies the argument that it's not product placement.
But the thing is, at the same time, we have it in films. We see it in films all the time. It's like really, really like subtle product placement. You see it like if the White House, nowadays, for instance, right? In certain films, or like Area 51, not Area 51, what's it called? The Pentagon in certain films, like, or even in Avengers, like how you see the Apple computers. Like, yes, they kind of took it to another level in Captain America, where they had a whole scene in the Apple store, and I find that kind of stupid. But even then, there's some sort of product placement, and you do get paid for that. Like, even like other animes, like Tiger and Bunny, which is a great anime. They have subtle product placements everywhere. Like, you don't even notice it, but it's there. Like, they don't even make any mention of it, but you see it. It's the same thing. Like, companies would probably still get, even if they're not getting money, they're still getting promotion. People are still going to search up their company. Yamaha is still going to be like, people are still going to search them up. Or Marshall are still going to search them up. People, like, when I saw this anime, I was like, oh man. The guitar. What's the guitar's name again? Guitar.
Yeah, it's a Gibson. It's a Gibson.
I wanted that guitar, and just wanted that guitar and name it guitar, and have it next to me all the time. I don't even play guitar, but I just want it. You see what I mean? Or even Mugi-chan's Korg guitar. I want that. That's badass. I don't even play piano, but I still want it.
No, I kind of had to make reference to this event in which there was an announcement that in Japan, Korg was selling a guitar, and it was being showcased by Mugi-chan, and I sent that to Bish, and he was like head over heels over it. But I'm thinking more that Korg was asking Kiwani, or I think the one who holds the rights to the show is Sentai Filmworks, or I don't know, but they were that's why I kind of find it hard to just consider it product placement. They were kind of like, at least to me, they were going for like, oh hey babe, hey, this is a reality, because like in real life musicians, Marshall is probably the best brand of app that there is out there for musicians, for guitar players and bass players. Korg, it has some competition, but they're generally regarded as the best. Do you guys recall what brand was Ritsu's drum set? Because the cymbals are the cymbals are Silk-jung, and that is regarded as one of the best cymbals out there. I don't recall Mio's bass guitar either. If it's branded or not.
I think. Let me just check. No, she has a Yamaha drum kit.
A Yamaha drum kit. I thought it was another amp, but generally within musicians, Marshall is generally regarded as the best brand for amps. So, basically, these guys, they don't need the promotion. They already have
No, they don't need the promotion. But when I was looking at it, I was just like, whoa! It's, even if they don't need the promotion, it's still
they're still getting promotion.
Whether it's paid or not, it's still promotion for them. It's still form of product placement, and that's what I'm saying here. I'm not disputing whether they get paid or not, but still, it still helps those companies out. They really didn't necessarily need to put it there. It's not necessarily needed, but it's there. And it's very subtle, and it does add that kind of sense of detail, as you mentioned, Tyson, with Kyoto Animation's obsession with detail, which can be a good thing and a bad thing, because some certain things you don't want to really see a detail of, but others you do. But yeah, it's this. What do you think, Kevin, about the animation style?
The animation. Well, to be honest, if you're talking about pure animation here, I wouldn't be a very good person to ask to because, quite frankly, I don't know many studios, and animation is more of an afterthought for me. However, what I can comment on is the art style. You know, that is something I look out for. I love reading manga and love seeing how shows adapt that. And I think that they did a pretty good job of adapting the art style of the manga creator. I don't know what his name was, but if you look at it and you do comparison between the two, it's actually quite similar. And I think I mentioned this in the New Year's episode, but I really liked the art style of K-On!, especially the eyes. It's just the way the character's drawn. It looks all nice and smooth. The lines aren't too thick, you know, and it just works really well. I have to say, I like his art, and I think the studio did a very good job of adapting the art style into an anime format.
I agree with you, and I think there's something like Tyson's obviously mentioned that he prefers Freeze animation and art style, but to me they seem very similar. And I've mentioned this before in our free episode. Mugi-chan especially looks a lot like I forgot his name now, Nagisa. And I'm like, whoa, they're exactly they're like the two sides of the same coin.
What? No, don't even make comparisons.
Yes, no, they're super kawaii. Come on. Come on, Nagisa and
can we just bury this subject?
No, I'm not gonna. This is the one reason that I want to talk about K-On! Just to compare the two characters.
Oh my god,
because they are essentially the same.
Oh my god.
You know?
Oh my god.
No. I think you tainted her name.
Tainted Mugi.
No. I'm not saying Nagisa's bad, but like you can't compare him.
Yes, you can.
To,
No,
like, I mean,
Nagisa is just as cute as Mugi-chan. The reason is because they are both like the only blonde characters in both animes that have really kind of big eyes compared to other characters in Free, and Nagi's just overall like Mugi-chan cuteness. Do you know what I mean? They have the same kind of character traits. They're both smiling all the time. Sometimes they're like the most naive characters as well. Like especially Mugi-chan.
No, if there's one character trait about Mugi that is shared with Nagisa, I wouldn't say naive is one of them. I wouldn't. Because if we're gonna compare personalities towards the Free, I would say Nagisa is more the Ritsu of the team. Ritsu is like the one playing jokes. And
no. I disagree on that.
No, I only say, first of all, because there are times when Nagisa is just, he just does stuff for fun. It's just kind of like Mugi-chan. Like, Mugi-chan, most of the time, doesn't even know what the fuck she's doing. Like, you know what I mean? She traded in.
I think Mugi-chan's like the neutral character.
No, it's not just that. It's just sometimes she doesn't know what she's doing. Yes, she is a neutral character, but at the same time, why would you trade in, she's very simple. Like, why would you trade in a trip to Hawaii for a shit?
Because she doesn't give a fuck.
Exactly, she doesn't care.
Because she wants to be a normal girl. It's
true. But at the same time,
you seen? Do you remember the episodes in which they were at their beach house, and how she was scolding her butlers? And like, no, I didn't need that. And the other time when Azusa came in, that they brought her a yacht. They're like, no, you didn't have to do that. No. Mugi-chan wants to be a normal girl. She doesn't want to be this spoiled rich girl.
Mm-hmm. But that's true. But at the same time, she is the spoiled rich girl. Like, the thing is, which I never understood, is that her family owned the music shop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So why the hell did they not give her the stuff for free? That's something I never understood. Like, her family owns it, yet her band, the K-On! Group, are still expected to buy stuff. It's like, what? Mugi-chan, come on, you can get stuff for free.
She didn't even know what bargaining is. She didn't even know that.
She just wants to be decent, right? She doesn't want to be like rude towards like the people in the shop, I guess. Because I mean, she's always so like tries to be decent and nice, right? She doesn't feel like
but if I know what you mean. Like, she doesn't want to feel that. Oh, she's.
It's not in her character. I don't.
Yeah, but at the same time, I feel that
her.
She still could have got it for like the guys. So much. Like, if she just asked the guys politely, they would have been like, "Yeah, Mr. Chan, please go have everything free. My parents own the shop." It's not going to be like, "Hey, you got to give me this stuff for free." You know what I mean?
I mean, but then again, she did manage to like get Yui-chan's guitar repaired for free though. So.
And they got to haggle with the shopkeeper to buy Yui's guitar for 50,000 yen. But that's the same thing. I'm like, why haggle? She could have got it for free. Like that's the thing that blows my mind. I'm like,
that's because she's so nice. I mean, like, as a Canadian, I feel so happy when I see.
Are you saying that Mugi-chan is Canadian? Is that what you're trying to say?
Okay, I can't confirm or deny anything.
The thing is,
I mean,
we don't know. We need to ask the manga writer, and maybe it was his intention. Maybe she is Canadian. I don't know. She knows how to speak really good English, and that's something that's present in the anime. This theme of, unified Japan, and there's a lot of like patriotism in this anime. Like they are so proud of their country. Have you not seen this? That thing?
Wait, do you mean like military patriotism?
No, I mean like they're patriots. They love their country, and you can tell. I'm not sure if this is in second season or first season, but they talk.
Is it done on like
They talk about Ritsu and Yui are talking about. Oh, we don't need to learn English. We're in Japan. We're Japanese, and it's hilarious. I think it's in the second season. It's hilarious.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
They're really, really proud of it. And then they're like, well, you need to know how to speak English. Come on. And there's always these kind of jokes. Like those two characters, they're the most proud of their country, but yet their English is so shit. Like even in the film, they're like, oh yeah, no, we don't speak English, and they're saying that to Japanese people, and I'm like, what? Like what's going on? And it's people they know, and it's kind of confusing. But
was it present in the first season though? Because I didn't really pick on any moments where it was like, fuck yeah, Japan.
No, not in the first season. That's probably the
second season. The second season is where you get those fuck yeah Japan moments. But in the first season, it's not like that. I think the first season is mainly just to kind of establish the story and introduce us to the characters. Speaking of the characters, I know I'm going to drop a massive bomb here just by saying brace yourselves, guys. Hold on to something. Because it's going to be like a hurricane.
Ships shall be sunk today.
Yeah, and hopefully we're going to fire some torpedoes. I don't know how it's going to work, but I'm going to start off with which characters are my favourite and why, and then we're going to go round with, obviously, Kevin and then Tyson.
Spoiler alert, it's Mugi.
It's Mugi-chan. But the reason is... The reason I like Mugi-chan is, first of all, Mugi-chan is so unbelievably cute. This is one thing. Mugi-chan is so different from the other characters. I would say of all the characters, first of all, she seems the most westernized. That's a given.
Yeah, it's just with the blonde
hair. Blonde hair, and she's
what I don't get is that I don't know if it's a thing in anime. It's just that anime they tend to have characters different hair colors and hairstyles, and that you probably wouldn't see in Japan because come on, when you picture a Japanese person you only picture blonde hair, blue eyes, right? So
yeah,
and her name's Japanese though, her name is completely Japanese, but she appearance wise she doesn't really look it, so I just pointing that out there.
But that's the thing, it is a kind of thing in anime, they tend to do that, but at the same time they also have pink haired characters in anime. So in certain animes they use it as a way to kind of show other characters and that they're from a foreign country because other animes do that, but they also pair that with a bad Japanese accent in most cases. I feel that K-on's just doing that just for the sake of diversity, because if you're having all the characters look the same, it will get kind of confusing.
Yeah, and art-wise, it'd be rather bland as well.
It would be. So I think that's mainly it's more of a creative choice for that. But let's get back to why I like Mugi-chan. I think Mugi-chan's very different. She's very westernized. For some reason, I just imagine Mugi-chan from this. I don't know. She reminds me of this kind of stereotypical princess in these animes because there are a couple of animes where they have these princesses and they're from the UK or from this really weird country in Europe that doesn't exist and has really weird traditions and stuff. but it's like that, and she reminds me of that, and I find it really kind of cute as a character. She has really long hair, which is nice. Personally, I like that. Which is really, really weird. I think Mugi-chan is another thing I like about her, is she's very polite. Unlike Ritsu, sometimes Ritsu can be a bitch, but she's hilarious, and I can relate to Ritsu the most. But, you know, Mugi-chan's just very polite, she's well-spoken. I think she kind of keeps the group together at times. At other times, she's a complete mess. You know, especially when the times where she wants to show that she wants to just be normal like everyone else. That's the times when she tends to be more vulnerable. And you know, there's moments where she's like, "Oh no, I don't want this to happen." Blah blah blah, and I'm like, "Oh, that's so cute, Mugi-chan. Tell me more." Do you know what I mean? And that's another thing. And you know, tea. She knows how to make tea, and you know, as someone from the UK, I love tea.
Wait.
So
now that I mentioned it, like, do you think maybe that it kind of like you said that you think that she comes from like a European country, right?
Yeah.
But now if you put it together, I think she kind of like looks British in a way. I mean,
she could be.
There's some stereotypes associated with her personality.
Yeah,
or
she could
and
be.
stuff,
Like
you know?
we were mentioning that she might be Canadian, but now you mentioned it. Yes, she could be British. She could be British.
I mean, tea being really rich and you know, like,
yeah, tea and also cakes. A lot of the cakes that she brings in are not Japanese traditional sweets. They tend to be strawberry shortcake or really like westernized things. And
was that the only one who got hungry while watching this?
Oh yeah, I did. There was many times where I was like, "Oh, I need to drink some tea while watching K-On! And eat some cake." Obviously, I didn't have cake all the time, but it's, you know, K-On! Will do that to you sometimes. Don't watch it at night time because you'll wake everyone up trying to make cakes and tea. It happens, but there you go. I think the character, but the thing is, I can't really relate to Mugi-chan. I find her cute, fair enough, but I can't relate to her. A character I can relate to would be, I forgot her name now, Ritsu. Because she's just like, whoa, she's like the character I can relate to the most. She, you know, she has other siblings, which I do as well, who, you know, she has to deal with them, and she's like the older one. I'm not necessarily the oldest.
She has siblings?
Yeah, she does. I believe...
Wait,
she only has a brother, a younger brother, who's an annoying douchebag.
It was shown on
the
it was shown on the OP that Ritsu has a brother.
Do they appear in the first season though?
Not on the first season, but he did appear on an OVA.
Okay.
Yeah, on the OVAs he appears, and I think Mugi-chan, not Mugi-chan, Ritsu, she likes to make fun of people all the time, especially Mio. And there's these jokes that she has with Mio-chan. I'm like, you know, it kind of reminds me of me and Daniil. And I mention Daniil all the time, but I feel that Daniil for me is the Mio-chan, and I'm the Ritsu. I'm the guy that, you know, we were friends for such a long time, and I'm the guy that always like takes a piss and, you know, make these pranks and that kind of stuff. And I can really relate to that. Also, the drums are badass, and I think out of all the characters, she's the most badass. And also, I like Ui and Yui as well, the two sisters. You know, she's kind of clumsy, which I am sometimes, and she's a complete idiot at times, but at the same time...
She's carefree.
Yeah, she is carefree, but she does things for good intentions. If they don't work out, but you know that she's done it because, you know, she loves that person, or she's really caring in such a way. Especially in the Christmas episode where, you know, her sister wanted a white Christmas and she got the pillow stuffing, which was, to be honest, the most stupid thing to do, but she done it because she wanted to make her sister happy. And I'm like, oh, that's really nice of her to do that. I would say my least favourite character would have to be... I would not say Mio-chan. Mio-chan's on a different league.
If you say Mio-chan, I'm bombing your house.
It's not Mio-chan. I would say Azusa, mainly because she's...
Oh, what?
Yeah, no, let me explain. Because in the first season, I'm just gonna use just first season. She's just there for a couple of episodes. She's only there for like 3 or 4 episodes, and
yeah, I was surprised by that.
Yeah, and she's not really,
I mean,
well introduced into the anime at first, and she's kind of used as this joke. And that's something I don't like. The fact that they're always using Azunyan. It was cute at first, but it gets overplayed in second season. and I hate that, and it kind of ruins the character for me. And I feel that she's a complex character. We don't really know much about her compared to everyone else. And to be honest, the manga explains so much more. But yeah, and I feel she's not given enough justice.
She's your favorite?
I'm gonna say.
Do you think she's your least favorite character in the manga, or the show in general,
in the show,
or just the anime?
I'm just talking about the anime in general. She's not given justice. I feel that they haven't really expanded her character enough, and she's just a punching bag for jokes.
The thing about Azusa is that, okay, I do oppose the idea of introducing a main character like almost at the end, because she was introducing episode 9 right? or 8?
Yeah, it was episode 9.
9.
So there are 3 episodes left to go.
Okay, so she was introduced episode 8, and this is a 12-episode show, so she was only there for 4 episodes. So I would normally be opposed to that, but the introduction of Azusa was, I think it was necessary.
Yeah, it was necessary, but at the same time, I have nothing against with introducing her, but it's why would you introduce a character?
I think it's just the way it was done.
I just want to be clear. I don't have anything against Azusa. I'm just saying that when Kyoani introduced her, when they did, it was necessary because I felt personally that the whole concept of the anime was growing stale at that point, and they needed to introduce this main character, to kind of like to serve as a counterpoint.
So you think it like kind of put the spice back into the anime?
But to put a little bit of spice, like normally I'm opposed to introducing characters late during the show run, especially main characters. But like Kevin mentioned, she was needed to get some spice. Otherwise, I would be like, oh my god, I'm watching the same thing again.
I'll have to comment on that, though. I mean, I'm in the middle ground here. I kind of see both your points of view, but I don't think that... I agree with Bish in the sense that I just don't like how late she was introduced. Like, I mean, I remember the Christmas episode... No, I was talking with you, Tyson, actually, outside of Kunai, and you said that she's introduced rather late, right? And I was like, okay, she'll probably show up by episode 6, 7, but then she shows up all the way back at episode 9. Right?
8.
I mean, that's what bugs me. But she doesn't make the major debut until episode 9. But point is, I think she's probably one of my favorite characters. Just the way that they introduced her, it could have been done a lot better. Like personally, I anticipated her to be introduced when they needed a lead singer. I expected her to be like a singer, and I think that would have been like the perfect moment to introduce a new band member, right? But it's just that she's introduced so late in the series. There's so little time to cover her personality, so maybe that's why they just kind of made her personality rather flat. You know, she's just a punching bag for jokes, like you said. I mean, I haven't watched the second season, I haven't read the manga, but I really liked her character, but it's just that they didn't have the time, but they just didn't develop her well enough.
Yeah, that's true, and I think if we're going to talk about second season, which I hope we get a chance to in a future episode of Kunai, I think that's where her character shines. But because we're talking about first season, that's why I say in the first season, she's my least favorite character. And there are other characters. There is Saoko, she's pretty badass to me. She's, I was like, oh my god, she's so cute as a teacher. And I'm like, oh man, I wish I had a teacher like that. That's getting into some weird ground. But I feel that, that's kind of cool for me. And then she has it was kind of a twist, that the fact that she was really weird and she was like really into heavy metal. Can
I?
Yeah.
I have to say though, is it me or is there a trend in slice of life anime where? Because think about it. So in Free, who was the teacher in Free?
The teacher was what was her name?
I don't know her name, but I know she was a model.
Yeah, she was a model. Like, is it me or is it like a poke at a running gag in anime in general, or is it a coincidence that the teachers always have this weird past they want to hide from the people in
Yeah,
the club.
I would say that's a running gag in anime because even it's kind of obscure that I'm going to say this. Even in Kill la Kill, they have that as well. So it's a common thing in anime. I think they're trying to put that out there. But I liked the twist because it wasn't like a Freeze twist where they had it as she's just a model. She was actually part of she used to be in the K-On! Group as well. Like she used to. I believe she was the one that started it, or
she's the earliest known member that we know. She's part of one of the first groups. We don't know if she's the very first person to start it. I think personally that her role, she probably isn't the most important character in K-On!, but I still think that she's more important to the story and to the rest of the club than, say, the teacher in Free.
Yeah, of course.
Right?
Because she
has more
teaches
personality and depth,
she
in my
teaches the
opinion.
guys what they need, and she kind of trains them as well, and she kind of gives them these nuggets of wisdom sometimes, not all the time. She's kind of weird at the same time. She's really I would say hentai is the best word to use. She's really perverted because she's kind of obsessed.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we see that a lot, especially in, I think it was the pool scene.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just...
Even on the Christmas episode where she forces Mio-chan to wear the kind of Christmas outfit.
It's like
she said, Mia.
Because she has a lot of outfits that apparently she didn't got to wear, and it's like she's playing with a Barbie doll, and the Barbie dolls are the K-On! Group.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. That is true, but the thing is, they kind of look like dolls in themselves because they are the perfect designed characters. Not even the other characters, they don't seem to have any fault in terms of their visuals and whatnot. That's one thing. It's kind of unrealistic, but it's a slice of life anime. It's like you're not expecting it to be realistic in any sort of way. So yeah, what do you think, Tyson, about your favorite characters? I know I was going to say Kevin, but I feel that if we say Tyson's first, it would make more sense.
We would need Tyson to object.
Tyson,
on
your
Bish's favorite
rebuttal.
character.
Well, I really don't have to say anything about Mugi-chan. I'll say, so I'm just gonna focus on who I think is my best girl. Basically, that would be Mio. And what is it about Mio that exactly I like? I like the fact that I can, out of the K-On! Group, she's the one I can relate to the most. It's not like I'm a coward, but I'm always like this tsundere that that Kevin has already made a reference to, a couple episodes back. Is that she's always the one who wants to take it serious, and instead of fooling around and I like how she's really mature, especially for a big I like how she's really mature. I think she looks cute when she's scared. I don't know if it's that when Ritsu plays a joke on her, or otherwise kind of forced by Yui when she cuts her fingers while playing the bass, or not bass, the guitar, and and wow, there's also this one scene in which Mio shows her hand to Yui, and then Yui goes so putty, and then I was like, oh my god, this girl is really
Well,
cute.
she says pudding.
She's cute. Yes, I cannot find the word to describe my senpai.
No, because I thought you said pudding.
No,
squishy.
Yeah,
It's kind of or pudding. It's kind of referred to. I don't. It sounds really vulgar of me to say this, but breasts. They refer.
Wouldn't that be boing?
boing?
No, but in animes they say pudding, or even I don't know. There's this pudding in Japan. They're really big fans of creme caramel. They're a big fan of pudding in Japan. They have this one pudding that's shaped like boobs. And I'm like, what? mainly because it's I don't know. It's just that's Japan. Let's be honest. But I thought it was a reference to that, like pudding, as in soft and squishy. But I digress. Another thing you're mentioning about Mio, she is a cute character, and I can understand that. I appreciate that. But for me, I kind of get, like I said, I get put off because she's cool, but she's like, oh, you're getting. They kind of reuse the joke of her being scared.
Yeah, getting scared. I found it got kind of stale after a while. I mean, it was funny, but it got stale after a while.
They use it so much, even in the OVAs, which are amazing, by the way. But it's just like, is that all she is? She's kind of like Azusa as well. She looks very similar to Azusa. Like at first, I was like, are they related?
I'm going to comment on that later.
But I was kind of confused by that, and I'm like, well, they're both similar. They're both similar in a way because they're kind of punching bags for jokes. Well, kind of every character is, but I think these two characters are the most used as punching bags. But yeah, anything else, Tyson?
So Mia will be the first, Azusa will be the second, and mostly for the same reason. I can relate to her. She's cute. Although I was debating on whether who's my second best girl between Azusa and Yui, because Yui was like the reason that kept me hooked on the show. Because even how can a girl be this dumb and for some reason still look cute at doing so? I don't know. It's weird.
I don't think she's dumb. It's just like she's so clumsy and derpy.
Yeah,
you know.
I would say that she's very, very derpy. I think to me she's very innocent as well. She's quite childlike. I don't know. She kind of reminds me of I don't know how to say this without everyone scolding me for this. But you know Sakura from Card Capture Sakura? She reminds me of that. And I feel like even looking at Yui, I'm like, oh man, ovaries explosion. Like that's what I feel like sometimes, because I'm like, whoa. You know, she seems like a child. She kind of reminds me of like a really, I wouldn't say Nanako. I would say her sister reminds me of Nanako without Nanako's cuteness. But those two characters together, Yui and Ui, together create Nanako. That's what I feel like. Like that's like the perfect equation. I think if it was kind of weird how they kind of split them as two characters that look exactly the same but have really two different personalities. But I feel that if they were this one character, it may have not worked, but I feel that sometimes it would have just created the ultimate character, which I would have felt like, oh my god, this is like my... I feel like if they were one character, that would have just blew Mugi-chan out of the water, to be honest. Like, just saying. Kevin, what do you think of the characters? Because we've been holding you off for so long.
This is no strange fit for him.
Alright, so... Yeah, my senpais don't notice me very often. Anyways, getting back on the point. Honestly, for much of the anime, I was like, "Oh yeah, Tsumugi for the win!" But I don't know if you got the DMs I sent you, Bish. I don't know if you read them, but once episode 9 hit and Azusa was introduced, I was like, "My ovaries can't handle this." No, there's fucking explosion. So I have to say, my favorite characters, it's tied here, right? I just can't make a decision. Probably Mugi and Azusa. Mugi because for the exact same reasons Bish said, she's like the Senna of this anime. She's actually quite similar to Senna.
No.
Okay, if you want to make a comparison between Mugi and Nagisa,
Senna should go and die in a fire. She's like, I hate her so much. It's unbelievable. Okay. So do not compare Mugi-chan to Senna. Like, that's not allowed.
Stop crushing my dreams.
By the way,
you're a dude.
I'm sorry, Kevin, but it needs to be done. Like, Senna is nothing in comparison to Mugi-chan. And if you guys are listening and you watch Haganai, please agree with me. Use the hashtag GLAPKunai. And give us your opinions, because this is a big issue. And honestly, how dare you, Kevin?
This is an outrage. I think I have to resign.
How
no.
dare you? You can't say that Senna-chan...
You were the one who compared her to friggin' Nagisa.
No, because Nagisa,
come on.
No, because they're the same. But you can't... No. You cannot compare Senna-chan, the meat, compared to
The
Mugi-chan.
goddess.
No, she's not goddess. What the hell? No. No. What the hell, man? No. Dude.
Alright, anyways, let's pretend that didn't happen. Moving on.
Yeah, you better pretend it didn't happen.
I'll continue on. I actually have arguments to prove why I think there's a similarity between the two characters. Right? I don't think they're similar in terms of.
Balls for continuing this conversation. You honestly do.
Don't fuck with my waifu, bro.
Whoa.
No, just kidding. But I don't think they're similar personality-wise. It's just if you look at like their character, not character and personality, but like think about it. They're both rich, blonde, extremely smart. You know.
Yeah, they have
like
similar
the
character traits. That's true.
Character traits. But obviously, like personality-wise, they're really different, right?
Yeah.
And Azusa, I just love her cuteness. Oh my god, just you can't. I can't find the words. You can't describe the level of cuteness in episode 9. It is my favorite episode by far, especially like, I think Bish might like the the moe part from
I love that moe cute.
yeah, the highlight of this series for me was probably the cat ears part with Azusa.
Oh,
that was just that was priceless.
That was, but I find it was amazing to begin with. But like I said, they overplay that joke too much. But you know, it's with Azusa and the cat ears. I was like, whoa, like it works. It honestly does work. And slow clap for the manga writer because it was amazing for him to even put that idea there and to design a character that works so well with cat ears. I have to say.
Do you think
really
it
cool.
was deliberate, as in to introduce some sort of fan service?
Yes, I honestly do, because these slice of life animes always have some sort of fan service, whether it's large breasts or cat tails or cat ears or whatever it is. There is always some sort of perverted person that's going to watch this anime and Rule 34. That's pretty much.
So
what I'm gonna
basically,
say.
Bish is a pervert for liking Mugi because
No, I'm not saying that.
because Mugi has the
No,
biggest
how am
breasts
I?
out there.
I don't judge. I don't judge a woman by looking at how big their breasts are. Tyson.
Sure.
Jeez.
Sure.
Jeez. No, but it's not. That's not the reason I like Mugi-chan, and I don't really notice that. Bear in mind, these are high school girls.
May I comment? Flat is justice.
You're such lolicon, man.
No, I'm just kidding. Well,
There's this
that
one
was just
anime.
a shout out
There's
to
one anime that kind of that had a good point. I'm not sure. I can't remember which one it was. Was it? I can't remember which anime it was. They were talking about. They were having this big discussion between oppai, like massive breasts and flat chested, and there was like this war. Like they were in a classroom, and there was this war of guys, and they were just discussing and having like a kind of rebuttal and like this kind of political discussion about what's better. And I'm like, what the hell? Why would you do this? This makes no sense, and it doesn't really. I don't really mind actually.
Sounds like Setokai.
It wasn't.
Oh,
SYD.
yeah.
It wasn't SYD. They mentioned that a lot in SYD, but I think I'm not sure if it was my romantic teen comedy thing, SN thingy. I don't know what that.
Let's just continue.
I don't know what it is, but it was an anime. I'll remember it one day, and I'll probably put it as a suggestion. You know, or send you a clip. I don't know. It's all right, Kohai.
Thank you, Senpai. So wait. So you said, Bish, that your least favorite character is Azusa, and
for this
Tyson, you
season,
didn't say
for this
anything, right?
season.
But yeah, for this season. For me, I don't really have. To be honest with you, like I say that character I like the least, and I'm really cringing when I'm saying this because I think all the characters are pretty well. I don't think any one character is annoying. I think, like I said, the cast complemented.
Yeah, they do
really
complement
well.
each other, but I don't
think-
find characters are annoying. I just find that characters in this season aren't probably.
I'd say my least favorite would have to be Mio, just because
there's no one else to choose, so you have
not
to
because
choose Mio.
she's bad or anything. It's just that
Target Kevin's house. launch missile.
You know what you remind me of, Tyson. You know Omega from what game was it from the Sonic games?
Omega?
Omega. You know, have you played the Sonic Heroes game?
I have it here, but I haven't finished it.
In Team Dark, there's that robot called Omega, and he's like annihilate, and he's with Shadow and stuff, and he's so like he sounded like that, and I was like, oh, that reminds me of that.
I haven't played Shadow Story yet, so I don't know.
Essentially, to be honest, they're the same. The game is the same. It ranges in difficulties. Anyway,
So,
what else are we going to talk
target
about?
successful. Kevin is dead.
Whoa, Kevin.
No!
You were targeted.
Mission aborted. Mission failed.
I think Tyson. As soon as you said that, Tyson DDoSed it. That's what I feel happened. As soon as you mentioned Neo, you just got DDoS.
What did you guys hear? Did you guys hear any of that?
Huh? No,
I did not hear any of that.
We did not
But
hear
it's in the
anything.
recording, so
That's why I played the whole mission success. Kevin is dead.
yeah.
I can't even hear what you guys are saying right now.
Do you know what? Do you know what that is? You know why that is? Because you talk shit about Mio-chan. That's what happens.
Fucking Tyson DDoS.
Yeah, that.
He doesn't want the truth to get out.
I'm a kid hacker.
Yeah. And you know what I think it is? I think that Tyson, he has like his own like dictatorship where everyone just loves Mio-chan, and if you say anything against that, he would just do bad things to you. And you know what I mean? Like, I'm kind of afraid now because I don't want to say any bad things and get like DDoS.
God damn it! I'm trying to.
Because it's bound to happen. Because you know he's not only does he have a secret budget, but he knows how to use it, and he has like the best hackers in the world just to DDoS us and anyone who
He has like
disagrees.
North Korea DDoS us.
Don't, Kevin, don't mention that, please, because it's bad enough Sony, you know. I don't want them to target me as well. That'd be kind of weird.
Take him. Get a live podcast tonight offline. Mission
Don't say
command.
that. But yeah, as you were saying, Kevin, please continue.
Alright, I had no idea what you guys missed. I don't know how this will be edited, but
You missed
what was the last thing you
everything.
heard from me before I got
As
DDoS?
soon as you said my least favorite character is Mio-chan, everything got lost, and I was like, oh shit, Tyson,
Alright, Tyson,
is fucking shit up.
Preparing the
I'll try not to piss him off this time, so please don't DDoS me.
preparing the dots.
Mio-chan isn't my least favorite character. It's just that she's not a bad character. She's just not as good as the other characters. There you go. Does that satisfy you?
It does
Alright,
not
anyways.
satisfy.
Like I said,
Preparing the DDoS.
I feel that like I said, she's a punching bag for comedy the entire season. But it's not even that bothers me. It's just that I feel like she's a bitch sometimes because like how many times has she punched poor Ritsu?
Yes.
I mean,
oh my god, that's something I completely
poor Ritsu
forgot
must
about.
have like concussions by now because of
I think Ritsu,
like the number of times that she's been punches.
in the real world, Ritsu would Mio-chan would probably
She'd
be in jail
dead.
for for
Yeah, I mean, like
assault.
I think that kind of reflects on the relationship I have with Tyson. You know,
Oh.
he's like this cruel senpai. I mean,
no,
like,
do you know, no.
I mean, he doesn't
so
beat
you're saying,
me, but
you're
like,
saying that you're Ritsu. I don't think so. I think you're more. To be honest, the way I think about it is that I'm Ritsu, and Tyson is Mio. I can understand that, and then you are Yui. That's what I think. And
am I really that derpy?
no, I'm not saying it in a derpy way. Like me and you, we kind of have the same wavelength, and you see that with those two characters. They make the same. Like most of the time, they kind of connect in this way, and they become
Yeah,
complete
they're-
idiots together. And I feel that me and you are kind
Yeah,
of
that's
like
what
that
I was
sometimes.
about to bring up. They're always like doing shit together. They're like Mio's just there, you know, trying to get them to practice, and they're always there wanting to
Yeah,
eat
that's
or
like
wanting
me and you
to go
and
to the
Tyson.
beach to get, you know.
Tyson's trying to.
Oh, yeah, that
Tyson's
is true,
trying to
that is
keep
true,
us
like-
together, like from doing stupid shit, and it's just me and you, fucking shit up most of the time. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that is true. But yeah, I think that's all I wanted to say. I'm sorry, Tyson, that Miyu had to be mentioned that way. Please don't DDoS.
I don't think-
Preparing
I think it's
DDoS
beyond the point
bottom.
of DDoS.
So
I think he's going to DDoS all of Canada because of what you said.
I have the.
They won't have it.
I have the power.
If you want to,
That sounds
if
like
Tyson
a
tries to hurt
flatline,
my
right?
feelings, I can just go to the hospital and get my feelings checked out for free, though. So.
Oh, high five! Because we have a similar system. Yeah. So oh man, that was burned, man.
Wait, do they have a free healthcare system in Puerto Rico, or is it similar to the US?
I'm guessing it's the US.
Do they have what?
Is it like the exact same system as in the US? Like the PR health system?
Similar, I suppose.
Oh.
Alright. Wow. What a shame. Anyways, what can I suggest the next topic? I really wanted to talk about this. I don't know if Tyson will enjoy this topic in particular, but I think Bish probably will.
Oh, is it ships?
Oh, yes.
See, how did I know? We're on the same wavelength. Okay. In regards to ships, which character I would ship together? Main ships, I would say mainly would be Mio and Ritsu. That's one ship. Who else would I ship together in this anime? Tyson, it doesn't matter if they're guys in the anime or not.
What?
Okay?
No, lesbian
Okay.
shippings? Oh my god!
That's fine.
Hang on, wait, why are you so homophobic all of a sudden? Didn't you ship in free? I think you shipped someone in free, didn't you?
We shipped loads of people in free.
Wait.
Yeah, you can't be a hypocrite. You can't just pull out now.
I'm gonna pull out whatever I want.
Just because you like guy on guy action doesn't mean, you know.
Yeah, like you can't.
Oh my god!
It's
Yuri is love. Yuri is life.
I would. Well,
oh my god! What is love?
I think that. No, I think that it's kind of healthy to talk about these kind of shits. I honestly do. You know, we're not.
Well, it's because like
we're not saying it in.
It's not enough.
Yeah, we're not saying it in like this kind of sexual way because.
Yeah, it's just what characters you think would work well
in
together.
A relationship. Hence why we're saying shipping. I honestly think Ritsu and Mio would make the perfect couple, and they kind of remind me of this kind of housewife. Not housewife. What was it called again? Was it married couple? That's the word. Like an old married couple. You know, I can imagine that. Like they're always having these arguments, but at the end, you know, they love each other.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's cool. That's awesome. Another thing I would say as a ship, to be honest, I can't really ship Mugi-chan with anyone because it's
except for yourself, right?
No, I can't even ship myself with Mugi-chan. I don't deserve Mugi-chan. No one.
Oh, come on,
no
Bish.
one deserves Mugi-chan. But I think Mugi-chan. I don't know. Mugi-chan's another thing is Mugi-chan also at the beginning there is, you know, she mentions how she likes to teach her, and I'm like, I can't ship those two because I don't think it works. Because the teacher's so fucked up in comparison to Mugi-chan, and I don't feel that she would treat Mugi-chan right.
When you guys said last episode that the teacher was like had some issues, I thought that she'd be like really fucked up. But to be honest, I don't know how you guys see like what's her name, Sawako?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, she's kind of an oddball,
she
right?
is,
but I don't think
but she's very perverted.
She's,
no,
like,
she can't.
fucked
She
up.
can't do that.
Yeah, she is.
To high school students, and we don't know what she did to Mio-chan in the Christmas episode. But the fact that Mio-chan says she can't get married implies something went down. Do you know what I mean? Like she must have.
But I think that's more like a running gag, though, because I think in the
that
first
is
or
a
second
kind of
episode,
running gag. But at the same time, she's perverted, and
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
teachers,
definitely.
especially when you're in that position, that's just messed up. I don't feel that.
I think it's more like the Japanese senpai thing, because over here we view it differently.
Yeah, it's true,
Like,
it's true. But I feel that if she was a younger character, fair enough. If she was the same age, fair enough. But the fact that she's a teacher kind of freaks me out. But yeah, other characters I would ship mainly would be I think Ui and Ritsu as well. They would just be hilarious together as a couple. But I just don't think it would be a fruitful relationship. I just feel that it's just there for the sake of comedy. But yeah, what about you, Tyson? Which characters would you ship?
Oh, I gotta hear this. Hang on. Just breathe in, prepare myself. All right, go.
I don't know. I haven't really paid attention to that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to break your dreams, but I didn't.
I'm kind of disappointed, man.
Yeah, I mean, you pulled this off with the Tempest episode. I mean, come on. You can't always be neutral. You can't always be Mugi.
What?
Really?
What?
No ships?
Mugi-chan, he's saying that because Mugi-chan's neutral. So he's comparing you to Mugi-chan.
I'm neutral.
Yeah,
I'm neutral.
because if you think about it, like, while Yui and Mio would like mock other characters, Mugi-chan would never laugh at other characters. She'd be like,
But
I
at
don't
the same
give a fuck.
time,
I'm neutral.
I feel that Mugi-chan is the biggest bitch on the inside, but we're never told about it. Like, I don't know how Mugi-chan is at home, but I can imagine she's like the biggest bitch to her butlers. Like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, what, you know, like, let's say she has a butler called Jeeves. Like, what the fuck, Jeeves?
So hard.
I wanted fried chicken, not grilled chicken. Do you know what I mean? Like, I imagine she's that, like, bitchy at home, but we never see it. So
I would pay to watch that.
I bet you that's how it is. I think that's how the
watch
internet perceives Mugi-chan. Like, those Mugi-chan memes are hilarious.
Maybe they know something that
They
we
do.
don't.
I
you
think
know?
they do.
Maybe she like moonlights as like a pro wrestler or something.
Whoa,
I don't know.
that's badass, man. I think that Mugi-chan probably moonlights as a pro wrestler, but at the same time, she's the kind of person that would just, I don't know. She would
don't fuck with Mugi-chan.
Yeah, she would be like in a bike. She's like, I feel like she's Kanji from Persona. Do you know what I mean? That's what I feel like.
Yeah, like wrecking shit.
Yeah, on the inside. Like, she's the complete opposite of Kanji. Like, Kanji has this tough exterior, but he's so cute and innocent on the inside. But Mugi-chan's the other way around. Like, Mugi-chan's, like, so cute, but I don't know. Mugi-chan could be, like, beating the shit out of biker gangs. And that's what I feel like. Just for the fun of it, not because it's disturbing her mum. Do you know what I mean? But anyway, continue.
No, I'm
What
neutral.
else?
I'm neutral.
Neutral on the whole shipping
Okay.
thing. Okay, cool. That's disappointing. But Kevin, what do you think?
I'm disappointed, Tyson. I expected more from you. Well, anyways, I only have one ship and one ship only. Really, I think everything else is just they'd be good as friends. But the one ship I have would be Mio and Azusa because they look so similar, and I think their attitudes are kind of similar in the way that when she's first introduced, if you remember, that Azusa really. She wanted other people in the club to get their shit together, stop eating, start practicing and stuff. And I think that Mio thinks the same way, right? Because she's always trying to get...
Yeah, I know, but it's like... Sometimes I feel like, why is Asusa doing that? Is it because Asusa just... Oh, senpai noticed me. Is it because of that? Because it... I
think it's more because like, she takes it really seriously, right?
Yeah,
just
I know,
like Mio.
but
I think
at the same time, there is also this kind of underlying thing where it's like, if I was Mio-chan and someone was just... copying all of my mannerisms and they look very similar to me but different hairstyle, I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, do you know what I mean? I'll be really annoyed. Obviously I'm not Mio-chan. If I was, then I would be so happy. But yeah, another thing is there wasn't much ships, and that's true. Let's move on to what the.
I don't think there were any there wasn't any shipping intended by.
No, I don't
creators
think
at
this
all,
anime was mainly intended
At
for
all.
ships. That's off the bat because there is no references to
And
romance.
that's a good thing, to be honest, from my point of view, because I know a lot of people on my timeline. Shout out to Javi and to Matt.
You think you can give out shout outs? Okay, cool. I'll allow that. I'll let that slide. Cool.
Okay, sorry, I didn't know
No,
it wasn't
that's
allowed,
fine.
but
That's fine. No, you can, I was only joking. Okay.
yeah, I know. But they just some people I know just they don't like Yuri because they think that I do agree with them in the sense that some people they take shipping way too seriously and they kind of see the things like relationships between the characters the way they want to see them, right? And K-on's such a good anime because it's not forcing any ships or anything. It's just
they're not.
Just
the thing is,
friends,
they're not
and
forcing
it's
ships.
their
You're
own
right.
story.
You're completely correct. Other animes, well, they kind of do, and I feel like even Free, it was so much easier to ship characters in Free for some reason compared to K-on. There was
Oh my god, Tyson, what is this?
By the way, for you guys that are listening now and thinking, why is Tyson being so silent? Is because he's searching for Mugi-chan memes, which are actually incredibly hilarious. And I will be posting these on Twitter after the recording, so you guys can look back at them. And now he's typing. What's going on?
I'm not
He's
typing.
typing.
Oh, that was
Oh,
me
that's
typing.
you.
I just tweeted something.
What the hell? Do you use a typewriter? Like, what the hell, man?
Oh, it's just because my microphone's right beside my keyboard.
Oh, I see.
I have a puny desk, so
I'm not recording on my bed. I'm recording in my bed. Like a mouse.
wow.
Yeah.
I
know, that's
suppose I suppose your lap is hot.
But no, I'm
Wait,
using a laptop.
How does that
cooler.
work? Oh, okay. Because I thought if you have a desktop and you're recording your bed, how does that
Yeah,
work?
no, I apparently yes, I have a desktop and I'm recording everything on my bed. That's cool. No,
I mean-
but there are small computers
'Cause
out there.
that would be possible because in Japan they have what are those? You know what those tables are called, Bish? You know, like with a
Kotatsus.
heater underneath. Yeah, those. That would be like it'd be awesome if I could have one of those. I'd pay anything to get those tables.
They are very expensive, my friend. Anyway, let's continue with K-On! Because that's the most important thing. There's another thing, there's a theme in K-On! That kind of continues. It's kind of this theme of friendship, which is, similar to Free in a certain way, but at the same time I feel that this anime focuses more on the relationship between these girls and their friendship between them, and how they kind of progress and grow throughout this anime. Another thing I enjoy about this anime, of course, is its music. It is a music anime, and like I said, it reminds me of, a simpler time when I was a musician and whatnot. And it's really upbeat. I feel that there isn't any sort of depressing music, and even the opening theme and the ending theme really get me hyped and it really gets me happy, and I feel like, oh man, yeah, K-On! What do you guys think about the music in this anime?
The opening song, the
think
opening
Tyson
song
should
gets
start.
is on my head.
That's the second time. Oh yeah.
Oh, there was a time where I used to wake up in the morning and because I downloaded all of the K-On! Soundtrack. But yeah, it was. I used to listen to that theme, the opening theme of K-On! While brushing my teeth. Like, that was just like, and going on the train, I'd listen to the, Don't Be Lazy. I was like, yes, this get me high. Do you know what I mean? That's the way it was. K-On! Would just make my day. Like, wow. You know what I mean? So what else do you like about it? Tyson?
The
Kevin?
fact that it hears so carefree, at least when it comes to the normal to the normal music that is like not composed by the K-On! Group. I like how ding 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 bing 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 bing. It hears like just so. I don't even know.
I see what you mean. It's like even the music within the anime is very upbeat and carefree. There really isn't any moments where the anime has this kind of, cinematic track where something's going bad. Because to be honest, nothing is going bad in this anime. There is no situation where they have to play some depressing soundtrack,
Yeah.
which is
Although
very different
there's-
from what I've seen in other animes. But
There's that slightly depressing moment I think near the end when Ritsu's sick and Yui's sick, and the falling out.
but it's not like
mini
it's not
falling
like
out
they're
between
gonna die. Do you know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
not,
yeah.
Not something like, oh my god, it's not like Kill It.
It's not
Kill,
extreme.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you think, Kevin, about the music?
All right. What I think. The music, like I said when I first started talking about this, I think it was quite good. The opening is decent, but what I really like, and I'll probably download, like I said, would be the ending. I really like it. I have it stuck in my head. I'd always I wouldn't sing along after it, but I'd hum the theme of the ending after I finish every episode. But can I just ask you guys, what's your favorite song? Not
yes.
opening or ending.
Oh my god,
Because
yes.
mine is My Lover is a Stapler. I think
My
that's
Love
the name of
is
the
a
song.
Stapler.
Yeah, My Love is a Stapler.
It
It was just so upbeat, so lively. I mean, probably my favorite song in the anime, excluding the ending.
You know what my favorite
of
song
course.
is?
What?
Take
Wait, hang on. Fua Fua time?
Fua Fua time, Fua Fua time, Fua Fua time.
Is it it?
Yeah, I love Fua Fua time. I was hoping you would sing it with me.
Oh, I don't
Let's
know
go.
the lyrics to that. You're kind of blown there, Bish, but
What? Oh,
I'm a shit singer
Tyson.
and I don't know the lyrics.
No, we could just sing the Fua Fua time bit. Tyson, give us a beat. Go.
I think that's good.
The thing is, because I don't know the lyrics in Japanese, if I did, I would be able to sing that song for days.
I'm going to listen to it right now, actually.
It's so good. That's like my favorite song out of all of them. Like, I listen to it and I feel fluffy on the inside because fua fua means fluffy time, and I just feel like lighter than air when I hear that song. And what's your favorite song?
My favorite song. I'm gonna have to go with the beginning one. I'm sorry.
Oh, not with. We're not talking about opening and ending songs. We're talking about songs.
The thing is that there wasn't one I particularly enjoyed. I'm kind of neutral on the whole matter.
Oh, okay. That's interesting, actually, because for me, like I said, I really loved all the songs, but I find it odd that you prefer the opening and ending songs, mainly because they just. Have you heard the full versions of them, or just from what you've seen?
Just from what I've seen in the anime.
I think you should see the full song because it's.
I know I've seen the full version song of Kayagaki Girls. I prefer the anime one only. Not I don't like it. I don't like the full song, but I do prefer the little bit on the anime.
Another thing is, Death Devil, the Sawako's K-On group. Their songs, like, for me, I like heavy metal, but I find it was a shock for me to see the teacher, like, this really nice looking teacher, really cute, and then she comes like screamos, and I'm like, whoa. I'm like, whoa. It was like really odd for me to see that, because for me, when I initially watched this anime, I was like, oh, she's so cute, like, cool, and then she's always complaining how she doesn't have a boyfriend. I'm like, okay, I can't see why. And then she's like, oh, heavy metal, blah 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 blah. And I'm like, oh, okay. I was kind of shocked by that. I didn't expect a character like that to be into it. It was quite interesting. Another thing we're going to be talking about is.
Hang on.
What's going on?
I have a question for you too.
Oh, there's a question.
Before we move on, just real quick. Since both of you are well versed in the audio
Wait! What the hell was this that you showed me?
Hold on a moment. Why?
Okay,
is this a
but
Monkey's
supposed to have them bigger than me. Or what the hell? Okay, now this awkward silence really troubles me. Let's just move on.
Yeah, sorry.
All right.
Yeah, continue, please. I just saw it and I was like, why are you sending me this?
But anyways, since you two are well versed in like audio wise. What do you think of, like, not the music, but the sound quality, like, of the instruments and everything itself? Because that's something that stood out for me.
I would say how the instruments sound. To be honest, they're professionally recorded, and I find that, because I did record with instruments before and stuff, I find that it was up to a good standard. And they sound realistic. You can tell that they did record. I'm not sure whether they recorded with a live band or not, as opposed to just computer generating these sounds. I hope that they did, because they do sound like they are done using those instruments, especially with those guitars. You can kind of tell the difference between the make of guitars just by the sound. I honestly hope that that's the case. I'm not sure, but I would say yes, they are. It's a good sound quality in terms of the instruments and whatnot. What do you think?
The thing about their live performances is that it sounds way too overproduced for it to be a live performance. You have to have some balance in order to make it realistic. Like at the reverb, at the echo, like you're actually playing to a live crowd. You're not.
Yeah, I understand that, but what I was saying was in terms of it wasn't done in Fruity Loops. it was done with actual
but
as opposed to everything.
Yeah,
done
but I'm mostly pointing out my gripe, and this is not only limited to K-On, but it's only at the other shows that also have live performances, but it sounds like everything is done inside a studio. Like when it sounds kind of like overproduced, is when I kind of like twitch my eyebrow a little bit. I'm like, really? You have an opportunity to make me believe these characters are in here playing in front of a crowd, and you merely play a track on the recording program. That's it. Whether it was recorded or not in regards to this gripe, it's not important. It's just that it sounds overproduced, like overmastered as well, and and that's mostly a gripe. And in regards to them, I will echo Bish's comments on the matter, but I merely had to point out that little gripe that I had.
Yeah, that's fine. I can understand it, but at the same time, I'm thinking about it like, okay, I understand that, but bear in mind, people aren't necessarily gonna want to hear a live performance necessarily because it is an anime. There is a certain quality with like proper live performances that you don't necessarily can capture on like audio. Do you see what I mean? Like, you need to be in the flesh to hear it in its epicness. But I feel that they really, like, what's the point of doing a complete... Like,
no, but there are ways to reproduce that. There are ways to reproduce it, but you don't have to be in an auditorium full of people to kind of, like, get the sound. There are tricks.
Yeah, I know, I understand that, but what I'm saying is that it's very different. Like, you see musicians that, you know, the stuff for their EP is completely different to what they sing on stage. Like, I don't know how to explain it. They sound like some musicians, some vocal people. They sound completely different in a recording studio because they tweak the way they sound. To be honest, and then they can't sing properly live.
The thing that I perceive mostly from hearing Kayagaki Girls, which is the intro song to K-On, in its entirety, is that there doesn't seem to be any sort of voice processing, which was actually and there's like a little MC moment in which I'm like, okay, so this is if anything, the only post processing is adding a little bit of reverb, but as in full on plugging edit the voice, nothing like that.
Another thing I wanted to mention, because you mentioned your gripe, my gripe, I've clearly stated this at the start, is the kind of lack of character development within certain characters. Like, I forgot her name now, Azusa-chan. Mainly because I feel that it doesn't give the character enough justice. I feel that Season 2 kind of fixes that, but just for the purposes of Season 1, I feel that it wasn't the best choice to introduce her so late. I feel that if they were going to introduce her late, you might have well just introduced her in second season. Kind of like how in Free, you haven't introduced new characters straight away. They introduced new characters in second season.
I do have a comment on that, but I'm gonna leave it for the Free second season.
It's possibly the case where that Kyoto Animation realized their issues that they've done with K-On and kind of introduced that and showed it up Free. Do you know what I mean? Because it's an issue for me, and I don't like that. And honestly, has nothing to do with the story or the manga artist, because he has no control over how his work is going to be split into seasons. I feel that's Kyoto's job. Another thing that this is a gripe at the fans of K-On as opposed to the anime. People are asking for a season 3 of K-On, and I can understand there is content to do a season 3, but season 3 of K-On...
It'd be complicated, though.
And besides, right? K-On doesn't know how to count to 3. They're like Valve in that way.
It's not just that. I feel that season 3 is kind of, for K-On, would be incredibly stupid. Because season 3, they go to college. The 4 characters go to college. The original K-On group go to college, and they meet more people and form another K-On group. And the other characters, before they go to college, she's still, Azusa still has to do a K-On group. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, how the hell are you going to incorporate this in an anime unless you do it as a film? and then make a season 3 where it's
there'd
that
be a lot
all
of
the
back and
characters are back
forth,
together.
right? So.
Yeah, they would be, but I can understand it could work as a film where you have this back and forth between characters, and then possibly have a season 3 where all of the characters are together, because I believe they all go to the same college, even Azusa towards the end in the college manga after she graduates and whatnot. So they could make a season 3, but I can't see it working at all unless they do like an OVA or a film before that explains.
It's not fitting for a show format, to be honest. It'd be too complicated, in my opinion.
And I feel that when people are like, oh, but we could make a season 3, there is content, do it. I don't feel that Kyoto Animation should get this kind of pressure from fans. And I feel that if you are one of those people that want a season 3, fair enough. And I kind of felt that way as well until I realized that there is more manga where there are in college and whatnot. And I just realized it just doesn't work. And please, don't get your hopes up, because if this actually happens and it becomes shit, you're gonna get even more annoyed, and you would wish it never happened.
I'd much rather have, if it is going to be done, if a season 3 does happen, I hope it's done right. I'd honestly rather have no season 3 than a bad season 3 that would ruin
exactly.
the series.
But the thing is, there is not going to be a season 3. It's more of a pipe dream, kind of like how people wanted
Half-Life 3.
Yeah, kind of like Half-Life. No, I think to be honest, and I really don't want to comment on this, but I feel that there is going to be a Half-Life 3. It's going to happen.
Nobody knows.
No, I think it's going to happen, because I think the trolling has to stop sometime. It's another thing. It's kind of like Kyoto Animation in a sense. Valve don't like the number 3. It's kind of weird. Like, there's no Portal 3. Like, what the hell? There's so many other games that they have that don't have a 3. Even Team Fortress does not have a 3. You know what I mean? But that's just something that I kind of picked up from what Tyson mentioned. But what are your gripes?
Before handing the microphone to Kevin, I just wanted to add on the whole live performance thing, and I felt like I should point out, I don't think it's because KyoAni doesn't have the money, because we're talking about the same studio that recently, in second season of Free, they actually recruited an American studio to handle an episode where almost all the speakers are English, and they only had some of the Japanese characters in there just talking very bad English, but the ones who do speak English are actually recorded in an American studio, so I don't think it's a money issue.
But the thing is, even they've done that even with K-On! If you see their film for K-On!, when they're in London, it's the British accents are on point. You can tell they really got British voice actors for that. Especially the taxi driver. He's like, oh, where you want to go, love?
Wait.
And I'm like, yeah, this guy.
Hang on, wait. Is the movie is it subbed and dubbed, or is it only dubbed?
The movie is Japanese voice. There's also a dubbed version, but I find that the English version kind of takes away from a lot of the jokes. And this is another gripe of mine, but that's mainly for the English dub. Jokes don't translate properly. They honestly don't. Amazing.
How does the Azunyan translate into the dub?
I'm not sure, because I haven't got to that point within the dub. I've only seen snippets. But there's like Moe Moe Kyun. I felt that if they kept that in Japanese, it would have been so much cooler. In English, they say the power of cuteness compels you. And I'm like, no. It just doesn't work. And I find that there is a translation issue. I don't find it's the issue with the voice actors. The voice actors are great. And some jokes are hilarious because they're like, oh, we speak Japanese and not English. Yet they're speaking English in the dub. So it's like, that's hilarious. But there's certain things doesn't work in terms of translations. Sometimes certain jokes get lost in translations, or they modify the joke too much, and it's like you lose all meaning of the joke.
But that's mostly the struggle of a localization. Like, do you keep it close to the source material, or do you go back and then rewrite the whole thing just to sit an audience?
No. The thing is, I feel that was a really poor translation, and I feel that voice actings are great, and I feel that that's what lifts that English dub. But translation's bad, and I don't want to hear the fact that it's difficult. Yes, indeed it is difficult, but look at all these companies.
But that's not really an excuse,
exactly.
though, right?
Most of these companies, like NIS America, they for their Toradora English dub, translation was perfect. And even for Kill la Kill, there are a lot of things in Japanese that remain in Japanese because they realize that, Senketsu, they can't call him fresh blood in English because it just sounds wrong. Kind of like this power of cuteness compels you. It just sounds wrong. And I feel that if they remain certain bits in Japanese, whether or not people understand it, I think that's much better. I think that's, I didn't understand what Moe Moe Kyun means. And
is that the literal translation they took, or?
They just made something up because Moe really doesn't have a translation.
It's not it's not a specific word.
It's something to describe something. It's like a verb that really doesn't have a meaning. But it's like, even in the subtitled version, they still keep that in there. They don't even try to translate it. I feel that if they went with the, didn't heavily modify it, because with K-On! They did, and it was really disappointing. Anyway, what are your gripes, David?
I don't have many. I think my main gripe would be the plot. Not only the plot, it's more like the way it's paced, really. It's like I said, they introduced a major character, Azusa, way too late in the anime, and that kind of that raised a lot of issues regarding Azusa's character, and the pacing just felt on and off because of that. It's just the way that there are time skips, and maybe it was like that in the anime. I mean the manga, and so of course they have to follow the manga. It's just that in an anime, when you skip ahead a few months at a time, because in the anime I think they cover 2 years, right? Because they cover Yui's first year and then her second year, right?
They covered 2 years. Well, not in this season, but in season. No, they cover. I think they cover 3 years actually. The whole high school situation. Yeah.
No. It's season 1. No.
In season 1, no. In season 2, it's 1.5 years. I mean, in season 1, it's 1.5 years.
1.5-ish in season 1, 1.5 in season 2.
So it's 3 years altogether, essentially.
Yeah. I think that sometimes when they skip ahead and all these events are compressed, it feels kind of weird.
But they need that because they can't. It's not a 24-episode anime, and if it was, honestly, K-On! Would be shit. If it was a 20, because you can't do much with slice of life anime. There's not much detail you can do, and especially
I agree
because it's also a music anime. You have to focus on what's the important events that go on, whether it's a gig or whatever. Because if we're just their daily lives, because it's kind of repetitive. But if it was a 24-episode anime and we were just focusing on their daily lives, I would lose interest, honestly. So I feel that was
just
needed.
the pacing, to be honest. The way they put plot elements in the anime. Like Azusa's, that's the main thing here that really bugs me. But other than that, I think everything else is either decent or well done. Like the music and the characters, right? The plot itself isn't something to be blown away over because it's the plot. It's not a central part of the story. It's just this mold that keeps everything together, right? The plot is basically they're a band. This is what they live through, right? So it's not really deep or anything to be blown away about, but everything else is pretty nice. So characters, the music's really well done, right? Because of course it's a music anime. But yeah, the pacing is really the main gripe I have. I don't think I have anything else to bring up.
Another thing before we wrap up, I just wanted to mention that a lot of people will kind of hate me for saying this, but I feel that this, I'm not sure if it was the first of its kind, but I feel that it paved the way for other music animes out there, because it is so immensely popular. This anime on DVD, and also the film as well, it grossed I think 24 million United States dollars, which is crazy. Honestly, it is, and it shows how popular it is and whatnot. And I feel that there's even games that they've made. Sega's even made rhythm games similar to Project Diva. The Vocaloid games similar to that. And to be honest, those games aren't necessarily the best in terms of graphics and whatnot, but they are really fun games. And I feel that
I think they're immensely popular in Japan.
they
now,
are
the
very. Project Diva is also very popular here. As well, not really popular. I think we kind of wouldn't say me as a human being, but I mean like the fan base in general, the Vocaloid fan base, really wanted that game to come over, so they brought it over. It's also made by Sega, the same people who made the K-On! Game, and I feel that possibly they could have used the same technology because they're really good with their rhythm games. But anyway, let's wrap up here now. So yeah, what is the next episode about, Kevin?
Alright, so it's my suggestion, and the next episode is going to be The Devil is a Part-Timer, or Hataraku Mao-sama.
So yeah, we'll hopefully have that episode in February. So this is our only January episode, guys. And you're like, what? Bish, no, we need more. There will be content, other Kunai content coming soon, which I really can't speak about on air. But yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode of Kunai. Yay!
And we didn't say Happy New
Happy
Year.
New Year.
Say Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
Alright, so Happy New Year.
No, but the reason we didn't say Happy New Year is because it's not even Christmas yet by the time we're recording. So
Yeah.
Happy New Year. Hope you guys enjoyed your Christmas. Or Happy Holidays as well. So yeah.
See ya.